Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Good evening, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans, Victoria's fans, as well as Raider Junior Hockey Club fans, into a Thursday night edition of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day on your home for MMJHL Hockey on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. I'm your host, Graham the G-Show Forsyth, and your play-by-play commentator for tonight's action. We are brought to you by Goaltenders, Elite Prospects, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, as you saw with our commercial, as always, as well as Terracoat and Movement, Fitness and Performance. The Vics set to get out, and they'll be led on tonight by Mason Tebec, a poster boy for this night's edition of MMJHL Game Day. But just taking a look how last week went, the Victorias went 0-2 on the week. The Raiders bouncing back nicely after their loss on opening night to the Jets, with a 6-0 victory over the Pembina Valley Twisters over the weekend. And here's how the standings look after the first few games. For St. Vital and Pembina Valley, as well as St. James, the only three winless teams heading into this week of action. And as for the Week 2 schedule, we kick things off tonight with St. Vital and Raiders Junior Hockey Club. We'll also have Stonewall and St. Boniface available to view on our Uscreen service tonight. Be sure to check out our monthly and season packages, all available on our website as well. But yeah, just in terms of these two teams as the Raiders step onto the ice, I gotta remember that it's a whole new week. Last week doesn't matter. It's about how you build off of your play, as the Raiders pile onto the ice right here. And we'll get into the Raiders right away. It's an outlook for them. A strong response on Sunday versus PV. Tough loss to start the season against Stonewall, but throughout it all, one thing has been a pretty huge storyline for this team. The most disciplined group through their first few games, as they have the least penalty minutes in the league out of any team. And they're also able to outshoot teams as well, controlling more of the game. We'll see how that continues tonight. And as for the St. Vital Junior Victorias, a tough start, but they've been doing some good things so far. Just need to find a bit more scoring to break that goose egg in the win column and win their first of the season. We're going to get into national anthems right away here, starting a bit early on this Thursday night from the Centennial. Enjoy the game, everybody. Thanks for choosing us to watch. Well, these two teams going at it for another time here on our network. We've seen them many times here before in this very arena. It's the home side, the St. Vital Junior Victorias, playing at home tonight, taking on the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. The Victorias searching for their first victory of the season. Played pretty well last week in their home and season opener, but just unable to find enough finishing. Do they find enough finishing tonight? As both teams jumped a bit too early to start things off. Now we have each team set, and we are underway here on this Thursday night edition of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day, as the Raiders Junior Hockey Club come into this one, as mentioned, 1-1 the Victorias, one of 3 winless teams coming in to this Thursday night action. And we'll get to the keys to the game soon here. This game, of course, brought to you by Elite Prospects, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, Goaltenders, and Movement Fitness and Performance. The starting goaltenders for tonight for the Victorias, Ethan Penner, and for the Raiders, I believe it's Evan Bonera, but we will confirm that. It might be Braden Martel. As Martel able to cover up early on here. Getting us a stoppage in play. So yes, it is Braden Martel in net, newcomer to this year's Raiders Junior Hockey Club squad. As the Victorias early on trying to get physical. That was Ben Dinez, sent out of play. Near side. Face off to our near side here. So it'll be taken by number 19 for the Vics, and Aiden Anderson, as this gets flipped into the boards, or into the Vics bench. Up and over there. As Anderson, number 21 in Logan Ash, go at it on the draw again. Draw one by Ash. This will be sent in by Colby Lewis. Penner out of his own net to stop this up and send it near side boards up. The Vics send this up the middle, but turned over. Logan Bruneau plays it right away to a defenseman. Ubi plays it up to a forward. Is that out of his reach? Is along the wall, physical play there. Saxberg laying the body. Misses the net, rimmed around, held in by Zook. Sends it in deep, trying to locate Larenko. As this puck gets past Larenko, held in at the point by Bruno. Sends it to the net, but blocked up well by the Vics and sent all the way out by the home side. Giving chase, number 19 and Aiden Anderson, first one on the puck. Anderson wins that puck battle. Wide open man in the slot, and Astorino. Astorino in front, scores! To start, this Victorious team is looking for tonight a nice pass from Astorino to find his man in front in number 25 and Tyler Free. And for Tyler Free, gets his Victorias ahead here with 18-17 remaining. That goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As Free in this line, and his line mates, I should say, will remain out there. Astorino off the draw. His shot turned aside by Martel. Long rebound out at the point, sent in by Jorgen Nell. Rimmed around the boards, gets past Benji Pepper all the way down into the Vic zone. Nice skill play by number 18 and Mason Larveld. It might have been Lucas D'Souza as puck gets sent out of play. Is that goal for the Vics brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia? It's an offensive zone face-off coming up here for the Raiders. As draw one by number 27 and Cromie. Shot turned aside by Penner into the end boards. This is played up to number 16 and Lucas Godfrey for the Victorias along the wall. Now back to Goretzky. Goretzky, quick little move back to his outlet man and Godfrey, who sends it all the way down, giving chase number 25 and Tyler Free, recent goal scorer in this game, only goal scorer. So that was actually Brandon Patterson in the corner. Some physical play for the Victorias allows for Patterson to get this back up to Goretzky. Fakes, goes D to number 13 Jackson Green, who's shot towards the net, blocked up by some traffic from the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. It's poked away now by Godfrey. Godfrey able to get it back. He'll lug this puck along the near side boards. Godfrey now sends it down low into the direction of Patterson, but puck gets past him. Number 12, Braden Larveld on it. It goes D to Jackson Zook. This puck all the way out of the Raiders zone, but scooped up right away by Goretzky, who takes it back in his own end and goes around his own net to beat the Raider with some speed. This puck sent right out of the Raiders zone again. Jackson Green sends this up to Luke Elliott as Elliott sends this in deep into the far side opposite corner. Larveld now sends it to a teammate in Feschuk, who has some trouble with it. Turned it over. It's to Connor Mitchell. Sent down low. A little tic-tac-toe for the Vicks. Luke Elliott denied in front. As Martel is there to make the save. As Feschuk plays it to an outlet man. Raiders try to send this cross ice. Hit a Victoria stick, but trickles all the way in. Jack Derrick giving chase. There's a penalty coming up here to the Victorias. 2 minutes for a trip coming up. That's going to be to Kobe Edwards. 2 minutes for a trip. We go in special teams for the first time this evening as it's an RJHC power play, which will be brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. And a power play unit that, of course, not too bad so far, but going up against one of the best PKs in the league through the first two games in the Vicks, over 90%, hovering around 91 as the Raiders get possession of it. Played up top to Zook, sends it across to Wilson. Wilson sends this pass down low. It'll be to Larenko. Larenko along the boards. It goes towards the middle, now opposite side of the rink in the Vic zone, and he'll just circle around the net. Going for a skate there is Larenko as he still holds on to it. Larenko now locates his man in Zuku. Dipsy doodles, but forgets the puck. Couldn't weave his way through cleanly past the Vic's defense as the Vic's able to send this all the way out. Martel out of his own net will settle this down, dropping it back to Logan Ash. As Logan Ash started off his career in the MM with the River East Royal Knights. Got traded to the Raiders last season. Has 2 assists in the first 2 games heading into this one. As Wilson will drop this back to number 7 in Zook. Jackson Zook. He'll hold on to this puck, far side boards. Feeds it up, but that not able to be cradled in by Larenko. It's picked up near side by Ash, now to Wilson. Wilson fakes, goes right back to Ash. Ash with some time, room, shoots denied by Penner. Is Penner able to snag that with the glove? 41 seconds remaining on this Raiders Junior Hockey Club power play. And the reason why the Vicks have been so good on the PK so far, I hope I don't end up jinxing them, but doing a really good job of taking away the middle, taking away shooting lanes, and also having active sticks in there. As that shot gloved down by Penner, and a save from number 29 that time. It's just a few more seconds went off the clock. It'll be Cromie to take the draw now for the Raiders. Won by Cromie, played back to Belouz. Belouz will get this right back. Now feeds it across to Cromie. Cromie up top to Larveld. As Larveld back to Belouz. Belouz feeds this through. Maybe actually lost a handle on the puck, but gets it back over to Cromie. His shot turned aside by Penner. Rebound cleared by the Vicks. All the way out of the zone with 16 seconds remaining on this Raiders man advantage. Miss pass. The Vicks trying to take advantage of it. Number 19 and Aiden Anderson there right now as the Victoria is successfully able to kill off this power play, this penalty for them. Brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Into the slot, not to the point. That shot just wide of the net. This net might be off now in the Victoria zone as the Vicks look to chip and go. Saxberg loses his balance. Take a taking a tumble along the boards. Now lays a bit of a hit from behind there on Larvell. Turnover forced the Vicks just send this wide of the net. Blast turned aside by Martel there. It was Compte who got some nice velocity on that shot. Now it's Dinez, wheels in. Dinez on the backhand protects this. Nice pass into the slot, but stick lifted on Saxberg. Is this a stretch pass to the Vicks blue line? Raider in alone, denied by Penner. As what a save from number 29. Denying number 15 in Devin Whiteside. What a beautiful pass from the Raiders zone, somehow able to connect. And even before that, it looked like Dinez had some room to walk towards the net. The Raiders do a good job of recovering, force him to either shoot or make a pass. He chooses the pass. And good defense by the Raiders to take away at intended target stick. As defensive face-off draw won by the Victorias. As near side, Benji Pepper ended up reversing it. As right now, a huge hit at the point there by Godfrey. The Raiders get it back, working it in front to the net. Not now at the point, but a block by Godfrey to turn that aside. It's that shot from Braden Larveld, unable to make it through. Turned over right near the blue line by the Raiders, near their own end. This gets hucked all the way to the near boards. Benji Pepper lays a reverse hit on Enerson before sending it in deep. Might have been just afterwards. The Vicks hunting for this puck. It's Tyler Free. Gets it to Ostorino, who's sandwiched by a few Raiders players. As Ostorino tried to get it back, try to make a play to keep this in, but unable to. Back into the Victoria's zone as they work it up the boards, but turned over. The Raiders can't seem to find any open space, though. It's sent in by Kennedy. Will go off for a change, along with number 19 and Noah Bonera. And DDD pass for the Victorias. Now up the middle to Dylan Jaquette. Jaquette will kick this out to the outside to Free. Across to Ostorino, turned aside by Martel. As great puck movement from this young gun. Victoria's line. We still remain at 1-0 in favor of the Victorias. And by the way, that's not the only action on our network tonight. We'll have Bentley Brent on the call for Stonewall and St. Boniface tonight. It's interesting to see how Stonewall is able to play St. Boniface after they were pretty close with the Railer Express for most of their Sunday afternoon matchup. Nice job by Free to evade the check-in down low. Gets this to Ostorino. As Ostorino strong on the puck protection along the boards. He'll send this up top to Goretzky. Walks in, fires, turned aside by Martel. Second chance, rebound, scores. In front, the Vicks going to work once again. And this time, putting it into the back of the net. I believe it's Tyler Free once again. His second goal of this game, giving the Victorias a 2-goal lead. Not even halfway into this first period. A player that's had a really strong influence on the game so far here tonight. Nice shot from Goretzky. That creates a rebound, and all over that is Tyler Free, who puts it up over top of Martel. Who, by the way, for Martel, it's the first goals he's allowed here this season. He got the start in their shutout victory against Pembina Valley on Sunday. As that goal brought to you by Kobe Edwards. Played to Luke Elliott, up to Edwards again at the blue line. He gets it to Mitchell. Mitchell unable to get that shot through. As it now trickles out past the blue line, but nice recovery by the Vicks. Getting a stick in there, and Luke Elliott to maintain this puck in the Raider zone for the time being. Getting physical, Cedric Compte. As near side boards, it'll be dished up to number 9, and Kushner sends it on. Net turned aside on the second chance by Penner, where the Raiders in a bit of a hole here to start off this Thursday night action. This will be sent up, gets to Dinez, gets a step, Dinez taken down, heading to the net. Will there be a call? No, there won't be. Dinez arguing with the referee. Just a bit, putting his hands out. Yeah, he had a step on the Raiders D, ends up taking a tumble into Martel. But I guess silver lining is an offensive face-off draw for the Victoria's team. Aiden Anderson ends up losing that draw. As it's sent cross ice now into the middle of the Vic zone, but shut down by Cedric Compte. He'll try to flip this up, but flipped it out of play instead, far side. As offensive zone face-off draw coming up again here for this Raiders side. So Ryan Cromie will take the draw. Won it, but his defenseman not up enough to get that puck back. So they'll take it away now right inside of their own end. This will be passed up. Number 24 in Carter Anderson, who gets it to Cromie now. Cromie tried to sidestep. Anderson gets it back, but unable to control it down low. The Victorias up the wall. Free sent it to Ostorino. Ostorino, good stick on the forecheck, forces a turnover. A giveaway from Zook. As Ostorino, he'll kick it up top. Pepper, his shot gets blocked on the way through by Carter Anderson. Vicks quickly playing that from the point towards the left face-off circle as it's scooped up by number 22 and Dylan Jaquette. Sends that down low in Ostorino's direction as Ostorino takes a bump along the boards by a Raider, and Jarrett allows for the Raiders to get out. Anderson, no use there, sidestepping to Victoria. As the Vicks get it out again. Logan Bruno, first one on this now, is Bruno. Tries to send this cross ice, but instead met the skate of Dinez. With 8:53 remaining in this period. It'll be a shot turned aside, Kennedy on the rip. Penner up to the task once again. So it's sent down low, the Vicks end up getting this back, but unable to send it out. Will be held in by the Raiders. Pass cross ice, not strong enough though. It's picked off by Aiden Anderson. Feeds it to Dinez. Right back to Anderson, but Anderson couldn't get a clean shot off. A Raider was with him all the way. Now played up to Zach Enerson. Enerson rips that from the right side, top of the right face-off circle, denied by Penner. Goretzky off the far side boards to a teammate, and Godfrey sends that up to Anderson. Might have a step. Anderson in alone, denied. Is that in? It might be. Yes, it is for Anderson. So he wasn't exactly in alone, but was able to use his strength to get past the Raiders D and in tight. One of the main returnees for the Victorias, proving exactly why not only he earned an A, but proving why he's so reliable out there, a threat every single time he's on the ice with the puck. And makes no mistake there, a skill play from Anderson to put the Victorias up by a score of 3-0. That goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. And Vicks continue to push the envelope here, send it in deep. I believe the referee's calling this out of play. So we will get a stoppage. That 3-0 goal from Aiden Anderson, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Sure to check them out today at 995 Miltsteagle Drive, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. This will be sent in by number 18 in Larveld. In Mason, that is. As the Victorias try to work this up. Trying to take that behind the back was number 11 in AP, Halpenny. As Halpenny gets the puck down low. Had it knocked off his stick, but catches up to it again, sends it up to the point, and gets it right back. Halpenny will just now send this down low into the direction of Godfrey. As Godfrey lugs this puck along the boards, able to make it out of the battle. Trying to get to the slot, but shut down by this Raiders side. So it'll be sent in number 25 and Grayson Neville. So Neville looking to join the battle now. His teammate Mason Larveld on it and sends it in deep. Rimming it all the way around to the near side boards in the Victoria zone. The Vics send it towards the Raiders bench. Maybe trying to catch too many men on the ice. Ash turns this over into the Vic zone. The Raiders, good forecheck. Pinning up a man along the boards in number 12 and Luke Elliott, and able to get that all the way back down to the Vic zone. The Vics carry this up. Hayden Willis sends this in deep. As Willis will head to his bench for a change now. Martel was out to play that puck. Played to success to his teammate. Now it's up. Kushner, what a move, inside, outside, as Kushner denied on that chance by Penner, as he's been strong to start off this action. It's all the way down deep this goes. Luke Elliott, first one on it. Mitchell gets it right back down low to Elliott. As far side scooped up. Number 17 in Larenko, who gets taken down. Penalty coming up. As Larenko going at it with Mitchell. Mitchell gives him a bit of a face wash. A trip-in penalty, which will send Mitchell into the penalty box. Face-off draw will be right outside the Raiders zone. I believe a play for the Raiders also going into the box, but this power play will be brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, as the Raiders look to work something a bit better here this time around on the man advantage with just under 6 minutes remaining here in this opening frame. As Mason Larveld able to send this in deep. Cromie will be the first one on it. Ryan Cromie gets it to Larveld. Larveld down low, spins away from the pressure, and gets this to an open man up top, who sends this across. Number 24, Carter Anderson, now back across. That shot, Larveld goes wide of the net. Trying to hit his target, unable to. Is back down low. Now back to the point, but held in by number 5 and Colby Aluz. Beluz will hand this off to D'Souza. D'Souza to the bottom of the left face-off circle, goes all the way around the net. The Victorias keeping them to the outside well. The Raiders looking to break in now. Side of the net, that feed scores! But waved off right away by the ref, saying the net was off. And a fan beside me bringing up a good point. Seeming like that net, every time it's kicked off, it's usually a goaltender that does it. Here, at least, and I mean, we've seen Penner do that in the past, same with Quebec. But if the refs aren't going to call you for it, you know, might as well to give yourself a bit of a breather until they catch you. Why not keep doing it? As the Raiders, only 35 seconds remaining on this man advantage. Larveld works this over to Beluz, who kicks this out to Anderson. Carter Anderson goes high of the net, missing his target. Unable to clear that out where the Vics held in now at the line and passed over to Beluz. His shot unable to get through as it's blocked up well by the Victorias. 15 seconds remain. The Vics hemmed in their own end right now, trying to get out. The Raiders not allowing them to. Beluz his shot, unwinded on it, but blocked up well by number 13 and Jackson Green sends that all the way out. No call for an icing since that was sent down while the Vics were still on the PK. As we get back to even strength, Cromie across number 19 and Banera still holds on to this puck along the boards. Tries to locate a man in the slot, but intercepted by Cedric Compte, who just passed the red line, sends this in deep. Luke Elliott first one on it. They'll rim this around hard. Too hard for Compte to catch up to it. So it sends it all the way back down into the Victoria zone. As Compte over to Willis. Willis back to Compte. Compte feeds this up ice to Anderson. Sent it off the glove of Zook and into the Raiders bench. Just under 3 minutes, a touch under 2:59 remains in this first period of action, which has been brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Specifically for our special teams as well as our special team sequences, as well as after whichever team scores goals here. It's been all Victorious so far on the scoreboard. It'll be turned over down low by the Vics. The Raiders continuing to get on their forecheck, but can't get a shot off. Was Benera. The Vics send this out. Giving chase will be Saxberg. He'll get a step on Zook. Beats out that icing as Zook able to get positioning on him again and cut him off along the boards. This to Jack Derrick. Derrick lost a handle on that puck heading towards the net. It was taken away by Nell. Just played up the boards. Now to the middle. There's number 11 making his way in. And Halpenny, his shot wide of the net. So we got a penalty coming up here, I believe, to the Raiders. Yes, it will be, as Jackson Zook goes to the box. So we bring Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia back onto the board. It's Aiden Anderson to take the draw on this Victorious faceoff. And as for the Victorious so far on the power play this season, at 16.7%, which ranks 4th in the league so far through opening week and weekend. As for the Raiders, well, one of the top penalty kills so far. Top 5 in the league heading in to this matchup at 91.7%. Or sorry, that's for the Victorias. As for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, well, something they want to work on. Tied for last in penalty kill percentage, actually, at 66.7. So for the Vics, we're hovering around that, over 15%, close to the 17% range. 4th in the league in power play percentage. Definitely an area they'll want to take advantage of in this game as Victoria loses his balance. No call made, though, from the refs. And these two teams play just a little bit. As the Victorias held up at the line, so they'll have to pass it all the way to the near side and send it in deep. Off of a Raider stick, turned over. Is this taken away along the boards into the final minute of play in this period now as the Raiders looking to get a step short-handed to Ash scores! How do you like that for a response on a penalty kill that hasn't been so great to start things off for this Raiders team percentage-wise? They score a short-handed marker. And to cut into this Victoria's lead, 54.5 seconds left in this opening frame. And the Raiders just able to gain a step on the Victoria's defense. Nice pass over to Logan Ash as Penner had no chance at that. As Ash was just able to tap it into the wide open cage. Not exactly how you want to end off a period so far if you're the Vics. The Raiders will try to build off of this momentum. Well, the Vics try to squash that momentum right here. Down low, Luke Elliott tries to get it up to the point, but a nice stick in the lane from number 18 in Larveld. They take that lane away. 19 seconds remains in the Vics man advantage. Dylan Jaquette will get this back from Connor Mitchell. Plays it right back up to Connor Mitchell. Far side, now to the near side for Jackson Green. His shot, trying to locate a man at the side of the net for a redirect. It just went wide instead. Vic sent it back down low. To the point, that shot turned aside by Martel. As we go back to even with 3.3 seconds remaining. A nice job by Jorgen Nell recognizing the wide open space. He had to step up and receive that one-timer pass. As the Vics, maybe a chance for a shot off the draw, but denied was Mitchell by Kennedy. And with that, this first period brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia in the books. The shots, I believe it's 15-10 in favor of the Raiders, as the timekeeper just said it. But yeah, for the Vics, you know, talked about how they did some good things throughout, well, Thursday's game. I didn't have a chance to watch them on Sunday against River East. But in a game where they're looking to bounce back, their fallen teammate's jersey on the bench with him looking over them tonight once again, and Carter Rush Wilson. So that's what that 17 jersey is. He was named the captain this year for the Victorias. But for a Vicks team, their young guns getting it going, some nice speed from them, and yeah, finding scoring, going to the net. Oh, forcing it in deep to the Raiders' zone, getting after it, and creating some nice puck possession. Nice cycle so far. But the Raiders answered back at the end of this period on the penalty kill. Shorthanded marker, killed off the Victoria's power play successfully. And for the Raiders, maybe that's a bit of new life for them. You know, they gave up 3 goals in last week's first period against the Stonewall Jets. They do a bit better this time around. How do they build off of that goal? How do the Vics respond coming up next in the next 20 minutes of action here from St. Vital Centennial Arena? We'll have to wait and see to find out. This first period, of course, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier and sports cards. Yeah, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to check them out today at 995 Milton Drive, their only store location that exists, or check them out on their website at CanCentralSportsCards.com to find out what type of selection they truly do have. We'll be back soon for the next period call in this one on gshowproductions.uscreen.io on MMJHL game day between the Victorias and the Raiders as the Vics lead by a score of 3-1.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
Welcome back into the Centennial, also known as St. Vital Arena, fully known as St. Vital Centennial Arena, on this Thursday night for MMJHL game day. As we take a look back at that first period, it's a 3-1 lead in favor of the Victorias. They scored 3 unanswered to start things off. Shots were 15-10 in favor of the Raiders throughout that frame, but the Victorias capitalizing on most of their chances. Actually 13-10 in favor of the Raiders in the shot category, as the Victorias make their way back out onto the ice now. Try to focus up through the white mesh. Yeah, as we get back into focus, that first period brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As we take a look at the keys to the game. As for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, getting pressure would be key for them. Winning on the PK was huge. They also got a short-handed marker. And they've been playing to most of their strengths so far. Trying to get a cycle going, possessing the puck well and out shooting the Victorias. But a few breakdowns for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, not as clean in their D zone compared to the Vics throughout most of that period. And as for the Vics, they've gotten their speed going in terms of capitalizing in big moments. What I mean by those big moments is just in terms of just capitalizing on those prime scoring chances when you have a chance. They've done that about 3 times so far here tonight for a 3-1 lead. And for the most part, they've been taking care of the puck well. It's going to be vital for their success this season, especially with less talent on this year's roster compared to last year's. But so far, puck management been pretty good for this Victoria's team as they're up here. Going into this second period of action, which will be brought to you by Movement, Fitness, and Performance, as well as Elite Prospects. For our other matchup tonight that's going on our U-Screen service, it's the St. Boniface Riels taking on the Stonewall Jets. The Riels up 1-0 through the first 5 minutes in that one. Goal from Nathan Brzezinski as his great season continues here early on. Racked up a few goals already, and as for this Victoria's team, they've racked up a few goals for themselves here tonight, as they lead by a score of 3-1 heading into this next frame. But how does their consistency stay? Do they up the ante in terms of the shots and maybe start to control things even more here against the Raiders? We'll have to see, as Goretzky will just flip this in, opposite corner, far side, into the Raiders' end. So he was just past the red line. This will be picked up now by number 12 in Braden Larbeld, who sends that in on Penner. As he was going to cover it up for a moment, it looked like, decided to leave it for his teammate. And Jackson Green, who, look out, almost loses his edge completely, but still able to get that pass off to a teammate. Full line for the Vics. The Raiders stretch this up, trying to take advantage. Huge hit along the near side boards on Kennedy from number 23 and Kobe Edwards. Gotta love that. Whole bunch of skill mixed with a bit of edge in Edwards' game as he's able to get this out off the boards. Given chase was Luke Elliott, but we'll end up right back in to the Raiders' end. Kushner, first one on it, takes it around his net, tries to cut past Edwards, but Edwards shut that down with a stick, while Elliott now pokes it up to the point. Sent down deep by Willis, all the way around for Compte, as Compte able to get that down low, just as it's to Luke Elliott. Off the board, sends it up to Compte, cross ice to Willis. His shot off of a stick deflected to the near side. As for the Raiders, they'll make their way up again as Larenko will walk and gets bumped off his line there by Saxberg. Willis pokes that puck down low, but it's Logan Ash who takes control of it again. Gets it up top to Enerson, or Wilson that is. Wilson couldn't weave through the bodies that the Vics had there in front of him. So the Raiders send this all the way in deep. Willis trying to flip this out. It's able to squeak its way through the Raiders D. The Vics send this to the net. Trying to get that pass there, but unable to. Into the low slot. Saxberg had another chance at it. The Raiders shut it down. It was Ethan Penner who played it to the near boards. In the Victoria zone as they look to get this out. Pressure from this Raiders junior hockey club. Having different ideas as they tried to keep the Victorias in, but the Vics finally able to get it out. Dines spins and fires this pass to Saxberg. Saxberg can't find it again. This is taken away by the Raiders and a bit too high up over the glass into the match out of play. This, of course, Movement Fitness and Performance, one of our second period sponsors. A local Winnipeg-owned gym going 5 years strong at their location at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue in building number 3. Be sure to check them out today or visit their website at movementfp.ca. It's all the way down into the Vic zone. Pepper plays it D to Nell. Nell up the middle to the neutral zone for Anderson. Aiden Anderson already with a goal in this game. His net's off. And there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on down low as well. As Cromie has his arms around a Victoria. In Aiden Anderson. So finally both teams do get separated from each other. So we sort things out here. Face-off draw will be just outside of the Raiders zone by the Vics bench. As Halpenny on the draw ends up besting Cromie there. As the Victoria send this in deep to Braden Larveld. Larveld has this turned over up the wall. Halpenny, that shot from number 26, and Patterson meets iron. Lucky break here maybe for this Raiders club as they send this up over the head of Nell all the way down deep. Pepper first one on it. Sent it to Patterson, but unable to connect on that pass. The Vics still down low, unable to send this out. Braden Larveld blasts a shot high of the net. Zook will send this down low to Carter Anderson. Anderson at the hash marks far side, up to the point. Larveld holds the line twice. Rebound there, cleared away by the Vics. Sanderson, Carter that is, will get it back off the rebound. Takes it to the point, sends it down deep. The Raiders unable to get on that puck as a player lost an edge for them. So be taken away again down low as that shot was out of play. And you know, in the pregame show of this game, in our short pregame show, talked about, or no, just before puck drop in this one, how it's a familiar sight to see these two teams play. In fact, back in 2022-2023, The Raiders ended up defeating the Victorias in the Elite Eight round in the quarterfinals to move in to the Final Four. They haven't been able to win a playoff series since. Oh, sorry, that was back in 2021-2022. The year after that, the Raiders ended up, I believe, missing the playoffs. The Victorious went on a finals run that season. Since then, the Vics have kind of remained middle of the pack in the standings. As for the Raiders, when they have made the playoffs, they've been one of the lower seeds. Looking to change that this year with the group. One of the youngest on paper coming into the season. Built up some experience in the previous two. So the core a bit older this year, even though it is still young for the Raiders, and looking to take that next step. Having a lot of work to do here tonight, though, to get back in this game. Their only goal of the game, a short-handed marker, as Kennedy in the corner battles away alongside number 19, Noah Bonera. As this ends up back to Goretzky. Goretzky off the stick of Aiden Anderson. That pass went. Raiders send it right back in deep. This is turned over just outside the Vicks blue line. As the Vicks get it back. Jackson Green fans on that pass. Delayed offside coming up here for the Raiders. To give us a stoppage. 14:04 remaining here in this period. Face-off draw just outside the Vicks zone near the Raiders end, or near the Raiders bench, sent in by the Raiders. First one on it, Cedric Compte. They got it to Willis. Willis tries to feed this up ice to Saxberg, but not strong enough. Didn't get the right hops. As Bealoo's coming in, shut down. Enerson whips that to the net, but denied by Penner. Puck still in the slot. Enerson took a whack at it, swung and missed, and it creates the Victorious 2-on-1 chance here, trying to get that on net. And another chance from the high slot. Rebound smothered up now by Martel as Martel, not too happy of the Victorious pushing away at him afterwards, gave him a bit of a jab or a hack. Drama ensues afterwards with a few scrums that almost break out, but the referee separating both sides right away. Stenez had to be taken aback by the referee. And with that, we're going to have a Victoria going to the box only, and Aiden Anderson, which means we will see a Raiders Junior Hockey Club power play, which for this time around, it'll be brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. It's a timekeeper right now asking something, I'm not quite sure. Oh, asking the referee what penalty it was. It's 4-minute power play coming up here for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. As Wilson, that shot from the point, turned aside by number 29 in Penner. As Ash sends this up top to Wilson. To Zook at the right face-off circle. That one-time blast is wide of the net. Ash, right back to Zook. Right back to Ash. That shot unable to make its way through, blocked up well by the Victorias. Zook will cradle this now. His shot scores! And they'll still have some power play time afterwards to work with, as of course that was a double minor. But 3-2 game now. It's the Raiders, the first team on the board in this third period. That goal, or in the second period, that goal brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. And the face mask penalty to Aiden Anderson. Victoria's team that's been so solid on the penalty kill. Well, penalty put them in a situation where they end up giving a goal on the penalty kill from one of their leaders this season, wearing an A, and Aiden Anderson. Played cross ice to Carter Anderson now. Anderson down that right side, turned aside by Penner. So he denied this. Apologies, folks. We'll get back to action right away here. I did it again where I pulled out my camera. As we resume into the action right away here. Puck still in the Victoria zone. Worked up by the Raiders, now played DDD to Mason Larville. Larville works that to number 5 and Belouz, who wires it just wide of the net. As Belouz will get it back, walking in Belouz. His shot off the post, finding iron instead of the netting that he wanted. Yeah, by the way, so our camera setup as follows. We have it plugged into the laptop, and I get a bit excited at points, so I just gotta remember to not yank it towards my right when I get excited, or towards my left. As the Raiders work this to the left face-off circle near side. Turned away by Victoria's stick block. So stick got into the lane. As fresh legs out for this Raiders Junior Hockey Club power play now. The Vicks work this D-to-D. Luke Elliott passes it up. Number 5 and Dinez, who Dinez tries to work some magic but can't get past number 23 and Owen Wilson. So the Raiders able to get this puck back and possess it behind their own goal line. Now Logan Ash, or Ryan Cromie, work this up to Wilson, as that'll be sent all the way down by the Victorias again, who on the second half of their penalty kill have allowed way less high danger chances from this Raiders squad, doing a good job of getting into shooting lanes too. This camera went out again. One moment, folks. Hey, Marty, plug that back in. Is that shot turned aside now? Once again by Martel. So we are back to even strength. We got our volume back up as well. As draw will be won by the Raiders. Now sent back into the Vic zone. Nice job batting this down and sending it, trying to get it towards the net, but blocked up. It's number 19 in Noah Benera. Up top to the point to be loose. Through some traffic, rebound there, but the Victoria is able to clear that away. But not quite out. Sent in again by this Raiders Junior Hockey Club squad. Now walked up by Godfrey, as Godfrey almost lost his neck guard there. Was able to hang on to his jersey. Quick pass up to Enerson. Enerson now sends it towards the net, turned aside by Penner and covers it up. In this 3-2 hockey game, 9:55 remaining in the second period of action. Draw won by the Victorias. Cedric Compte plays it D, now to an outlet man. This goes to Luke Elliott, who feeds it up to Mitchell, drags and shoots, fires that into the pads, rebound there, scores! Luke Elliott swoops right in to put this puck over a sprawled out Martel as the Victorias go back up by 2 in this one. 4-2 lead on a goal, brought to you by Elite Prospects. And it's great transition from the Victorias, as clean as it could have been out of their zone. D. Passed up to the middle. Connor Mitchell carries it in, drags and shoots a shot which is hard into the pads of Martel. Too much for him to handle. Luke Elliott forgotten about as he wasn't even in the zone yet, and finds himself wide open to put that rebound in. How do the Raiders respond? A dangerous shot off the pads of Penner, so you have to be sharp on that one to make the save. Mitchell is contested at the blue line. He goes off for a change now. He had an assist on that goal from Luke Elliott, turned over up the middle just before the blue line out of the Raiders zone, sent into the corner. As Saxberg will send this right back to where he got it from, to Ostorino. Ostorino, great strength with him, protecting this on the outside. Dinez sends us to the net somehow to Saxberg. Sneaky little pass. Saxberg denied, and man, like I said it last week, but Tyler Anderson has to be really happy with this collection of players, especially on this line. And Dinez, who showcased his skill and speed. We've seen that hurt the teams they played against a few times already. And then Ostorino and Saxberg, just 3 players who are quick, 3 players that are skilled with the puck, and 3 players with great vision. It was an unreal pass to get it towards the front of the net there from this Vic side. And here we go again, trying to dangle through. Dinez denied by Mason Larveld. The Vics sent it right back in. That dumped in off the stick of Nell as Dinez flies by, pressuring Larveld. As reverse hit laid on Dinez there down low. Physical play. No call from the referee. It will be scooped up along the wall by Ryan Cromie. Cromie off the boards, not able to connect with an outlet man in Kushner. Raiders will try again. Back in their own end, rimming this around the boards and successfully getting it to Owen Larenko just past the red line. He's just looking to dump it in, got a shot on net instead, as the Raiders looking to get some pressure going again on the forecheck. The Vics able to send it out cross ice though. The near side to Nell, that pass was out of his reach, offside coming up here for the Raiders. This will go to 4-on-4 play here. Nell and Larenko, the extracurriculars, after the whistle had gone there on the offside. Got the ref's attention. They'll just take both of them, as we're still at even strength, but a bit more room to work here for the next 2 minutes at 4-on-4. Draw won by the Raiders as Belouz misses man with the pass. Misjudged overall by the Raiders there. Connor Mitchell, nice move down the far side. Mitchell puts this into the netting. It's his shot. Not good enough there to register on net. Mitchell will win this draw back to Goretzky. A little head fake by Goretzky, and he'll plow up that left wall. That shot turned aside by Martel. It's for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. We sent to Kennedy the way out. Victoria loses an edge in Mitchell. Kennedy got past him, although not cleanly, as that puck hops over Kennedy's stick. Now taken out into the boards, pinned up by Connor Mitchell, as both teams trying to get this puck back. It's the Vicks who do so first. Jackson Green to Luke Elliott. Elliott's pass back to Green. A bit of a mispass, but no mistake there from Goretzky on a beautiful move out of his own end. Goretzky will lug this himself and down the near side. Finally gets a bit knocked off his line. Still maintained possession of it down low. He went off for a change. Now fresh legs out on the decor for the Vicks. That shot in front from Ostorino, just wide of the net. As Tyler Free with 2 goals in this one sent it to Willis. Willis down low to Ostorino, who lost his balance. Ostorino right back up. Sends this down deep. So he's scooped up by Cromie. Cromie dishes this to a wide open teammate in Belouz. As Belouz, beautiful pass over the Victoria stick to Cromie. Dangles in. Cromie denied by Penner. What a save from number 29. So with that, I mean, an unbelievable save, but an unbelievable pass from Belouz. Not the cleanest saucer pass you'll ever see, but flutters enough to get over not just 1, but 2 Victoria stick. Connects with one of their most dangerous players in Ryan Cromie. With that, a huge shot from Penner keeps this a 2-goal lead for the Victorias. As the Raiders get possession of it off the draw. It's flipped to Zook. That shot, low rebound there, but the Vicks boxing out well, taking any opportunity away. For a second chance from the Raiders there. Luke Elliott spun twice to evade the pressure. We're now back to 5-on-5 hockey. This played up the near side boards, just out of the Raiders zone now this goes. And right back into their own end. It's for the Raiders. Looking to send this up, and it's to Zook. Zook takes it into the Victoria zone, down that near left side. As they control it up at the point now. Braden Larveld, his shot high, scores! Well, second point shot to beat Penner tonight. This one looks like it almost handcuffs him. He's unable to get good position in his position to stop that chance from this Raiders side. And hey, just throw pucks on net, good things happen, right? That goal brought to you by Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the web. Today, as the Raiders, that shot quickly turned aside by Penner. As the Raiders, can we feel some momentum shifting now? Enerson sent it into the skates of Victoria. Wilson still had a shot at it, though. So it gets flipped towards Victoria's blue line, now back onto the stick of Aiden Anderson, but he ends up losing a handle on it along the far side boards near the Vicks bench, sent all the way down deep by the Raiders, as that'll be called for an icing. Oh, this one, no shortage of offense. It was 3-1 for the Vicks heading into the period. Now it's only 4-1. So they lead this hockey game with the score, or rather their lead being shrunken down from 2-1 recently by the Raiders. As puck turned over in the Victoria zone, or in the Raiders zone, the Raiders able to carry it in. That pass towards Kennedy, not going to find him, but what the refs will find is another penalty to be called. And that'll be number 8. 2 minutes for boarding, I believe, going to Saxburg, sends the Raiders back onto the power play. Will be brought to you by Elite Prospects. The discipline for the Victorias could have potentially cost them again here, that lack of discipline, as the Raiders scored on their last power play out, which was a double minor. Braden Larveld over to Cromie. Cromie catches that puck impressively. So is wobbling, heading towards him. Larveld over to Anderson as Carter Anderson finds the side of the net instead. Denied there. Anderson down to, I believe, D'Souza. This worked up to Braden Larveld, or Mason Larveld. That pass from Carter Anderson missed Cromie, but Cromie cradled it off of the boards. Is looking for a man in the slot. They find it! Carter Anderson has his shot denied, though. A nice block by the Victorias. As the Raiders look to break their way in once again. It's dropped back to find a wide open D'Souza. D'Souza down the right side. Will carry this down low. A little backhand pass trying to find the slot man. But that was cut off well by the Vics. Mason Larveld at the point feeds this over to Cromie. Cromie towards the net, backdoor feed! But the net off. Victoria is just surviving what was a beautiful look there for the Raiders on this power play sequence. The Raiders doing a really good job of staying patient, waiting for passing teams to open up. There's been more and more as this game has gone along in the penalty kill for the Victorias. There's 49 seconds left to play with on the power play here for the Raiders. As the Vics, great response after being hemmed in a bit. They're able to get it all the way out off of the plexiglass in their own end. Or I don't know if that's plexiglass, but the board's glass, we'll just call it that. As far side at the hash marks. Wilson to Zook. Zook back to Wilson. This is played down low to Larenko. Larenko surveying his options. Finds the best one to be Wilson. As Wilson, far side point, right back down to Larenko. Quick shot in the slot. Cromie couldn't get what he wanted on that one. Fanned on it a bit. We're back to even strength. So all the way down this goes. Martel turns it over. Great speed from Saxberg to take it away to Anderson. Aiden Anderson can't find his man. Dinez, though, with the pass. This is down low, taken away by Anderson again. Great speed from number 19, but another penalty coming up here for the Vics. So Anderson's going to hold off on any plans he had with that puck, what he was going to do with it. It's 2 minutes for interference here coming up. Clearly you could see a Raiders Junior Hockey Club player get knocked down where the puck was really nowhere near him. And with that, the Raiders go back onto the power play, which this one will be brought to you by Movement, Fitness, and Performance. With 1:43 remaining, so if the Vics are able to shut down the Raiders here for the next 1 minute and 43 seconds, the Raiders will have about 17 seconds left to work with on power play time to start off the third period. They have plans of scoring here, tying this game in the late stages of this third. Larveld turned aside, just get enough of it. Was Penner to turn away Mason as Carter Anderson up top to Bealouz. Bealouz to Mason Larveld again. That shot this time going just wide of the net. Bealouz banks this down low off the near side boards. Carter Anderson feeds it back to Larveld. Larveld right back to Anderson. Trying to get it through a screen, but blocked up well by Nell. Clean attempt, not good enough though. As side of the net, puck still remains there. Raiders searching for it. As I believe D'Souza took a stick with him. But no hooking call on the play as that stick got caught in between D'Souza's arm and upper body. Up top to Bealouz. Bealouz over to Mason Larveld. Larveld back to Bealouz, but that pass hops over 5 stick. As Bealouz down low to D'Souza. Back to Bealouz. Backdoor feed off the skates. Digging away at it were the Raiders, but unable to get a clean shot off afterwards. So Victoria's just send this in deep. So they're able to survive. The Raiders locating that area in the Vic's defensive zone, looking for backdoor feeds. They've been successful on a few of the feeds through, just unsuccessful on the final execution, which for them would be preferably put in the back of the net as 7 seconds remain in this period. Larenko at the blue line walks in. That shot glove down by Penner. hacks Chromie a bit. The stick there. With 2 seconds exactly remaining in this period of action. See what the game plan is here for Kushner. Looking to get a shot off. Mitchell read it well to shut it down. And with that, as we head into our second intermission, the Raiders, in my opinion, having a better period than in the first, of course. Only allowing 1 goal. Scoring 2 for themselves. One of them coming on the power play on a double minor. Then another even strength. A few shots from the point that'd be Penner. The Raiders have continued to be more dangerous in the Vic zone as this game has gone along, finding more open passing lanes. Just unable to connect to get it into the back of the net. As for the Vics, you give up 2 goals in that period, but you're still able to get 1. You still have the lead heading in to the final 20 minutes of regulation. For the most part, I think, they're doing a good job of boxing out, taking away rebounds cleanly for clean opportunities for this Raiders team. And the Vics are also doing some good things in transition. They've been able to get some quality offensive zone time throughout that period, too. It's just on the shorter end of the stick in terms of the scoreboard that period around. This period, the second, was brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance, as well as Elite Prospects. Terrico will be our third period sponsor, as that's who we'll see next when the Raiders will still remain on the power play with 17 seconds left. By the way, the St. Boniface Riels and Stonewall Jets, after the first 20 minutes in Stonewall at the Veterans Memorial Complex there, it's 3-0 for the Vics after the first 20 minutes. Brzezinski, Major, and Long with the goals, and wow, 23-9 in shots in favor of the Riels. Quite a hole that the Jets have to dig themselves out of in that matchup. As for the Raiders, they've almost dug themselves out of a hole where they were once down 3-0 in this game. Much closer now, 4-3. Tune in for the third to find out how this one ends. We're going to send it to a promo screen for the time being, though. And welcome back into what's going to be our third period of regulation here in this Thursday night matchup between the St. Vital Junior Victorias and the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. In terms of that past period, it was the Raiders Junior Hockey Club who ended up scoring 2 goals for themselves, and both goals coming from Jackson Zook. This one on the power play, and then another even strength 15:02 into the third period of action. Luke Elliott getting on the board with a goal for the Victorias to get them back a 2-goal lead at the time, assisted by Connor Mitchell. It's going to be the Raiders on the power play to start things off here in this period for the next 17 seconds. And by the way, MMJHL fans, in this game here, if the Victorias are able to win, they'll come away with their first victory of the season in the MMJHL. And as for St. Vital, of course, they opened up their season here, the first game to get going in the MMJHL's regular season schedule, on a very emotional night, as it was a game being played, as all this season will be played, but that game specifically, first game without their teammate in Carter Wilson, who had tragically passed away, losing his battle to brain cancer throughout the summer. But back to the moment, a moment before the game for this Victoria's side, as they stood all together at the blue line. It's a great speech given, words honoring Carter Wilson, and this was great too. They let 17 seconds go off Carter's number, put the puck where he would have been usually, and yeah, let time run off. Great to see both teams having the respect to be able to do that. There was also a moment of silence too in that. But as we pick up into game action, the Twins, the first team to score in this MMJHL season, as Matt Lazotte finds the back of the net for his first of the season. But this Victoria's team would have a bit of fight in them, down 2-0, and it would be the rookies working some magic. Actually, Blake Goretzky, who walks in end-to-end, fires a shot on net where it rattles around a bit, and Chris Ostorino, his first ever regular season game in the MMJHL, put it home for his first career MMJHL goal. The Vics pushed in that one, but were unable to best the Twins, as the Twins held on to go 1-0 that night to start off the season. But like I said at the start of this game, I think that the Victorias, dating back to last Thursday, had a lot to like in their game. Thought that they outplayed the Twins for the most part, got goalie. Tonight, they found some good offense, especially in that first period. But the Raiders have still been able to hang in this one. As we get into the third period of action now, it's about to start. The Raiders still on the power play. The man in the box for the Victorias ends up, of course, being number 5 in Ben Dinez. 2-minute penalty for interference. That's almost over. The Vics, maybe a short-handed chance here to start things off, as Ostorino took this in deep, held along the boards there by Mason Larveld. As Larveld able to take this away, the Victorias were able to kill off the remainder of this penalty. And we are back here to even strength. That shot was turned aside by Penner down below, as Goretzky battles with the Raider himself. Raiders try to send that into the slot. Cromie, the intended man, but just too many Vics to cover in the lane. Fed up to Saxberg. Tries to dipsy doodle through Wilson. Because we got some kids screaming in front of us right now, hyped up about this one. So I'm sure you can see them on the screen here too. As Luke Elliott will dump this in deep past the red line, so no icing called. As Elliott back on it, backhands this up to Willis, but Willis can't hold the line. Nice recovery, gets a short pass over to Elliott. Elliott sends this into the roof over here at the Centennial. As, of course, went cleanly into the roof without deflecting off of a Raiders stick, so a draw just outside the Vic zone to our near side of our broadcast angle, won by the Raiders, as the Raiders will play this D to D. It's to Braden Larveld, as the Larveld up the near side boards. His chip out attempt, not quite good enough at first, but Kennedy helped him out by getting it out. Sent right back in by the Vics. Luke Elliott first one on it. Tries to fire that pass to Kobe Edwards, but intercepted that pass was by Kennedy. Just past the blue line. Sends this in deep. Enerson, first one on it, sent it onto the net. I believe it hit off of Penner's pad. But no danger for the time being. A shot turned aside by Penner once again. Is held in still at the line by Zook. Has 2 goals. This game is mentioned already, and actually that isn't Zook. That's Bruno who gets absolutely leveled at the line there. Got to be aware that that is a possibility. I'm sure he was, but maybe not expecting to get hit as hard as he did. So he tried to keep that puck inside the attacking zone for the Raiders as they search for a goal to tie this for the time being, unless the Vics are able to get a bit more ahead on the scoreboard. Both teams trying to find this in skates. Is that shot a little wide of the net and down below? There's another shot tipped wide of the net there. Dangerous in front for the Victorias, but it's the Raiders able to break this all the way out. Turned over into the Vic zone. Off the wall, Benji Pepper sends this feed up to Tyler Free, who, speaking of him, he had the first 2 goals in this game to give the Victorias a 2-0 advantage at the time. Icing will be called on this play. And with that, we'll get a stoppage in play. With 17:04 remaining on the 3rd period game clock. Just 2 minutes before 9 o'clock here as well. We've been cruising in this one time-wise. This game started a bit earlier than 7:30 as well, as Benji Pepper unable to kick this back in deep. Lays a hit on Darrett, who knocks him to the ice just after he sent that in deep back into the Raiders zone. Darrett now tries to send it out cross ice. He did, but intercepted by the Vics right away. Benji Pepper will send this in deep with a slap shot. Bounces far enough to get to Godfrey. Godfrey battling down low. Has some support in Patterson. Godfrey takes it himself. Goes to battle with Ash. Patterson in for support. Rims this all the way around. Up top to Goretzky, who has that shot blocked by Larenko. Goretzky gets it back. All Vic's clear, so he's good to walk in once again. Missed pass, though, by Goretzky to his teammate, and allows for the Raiders to get possession of it. Turning up ice. Ash has that poked away from his stick, but gets it right back. Ash trying to wheel into the zone, but loses a handle on it again, as Hal Penny will send this in deep for the Vics as they look to pressure. A bit too physical there. Illegally for the refs, like in Saxburg. Another hit laid on a Raider down low. He may be getting 2 penalties here coming up. The Raiders still maintain possession of it. Tripping on the blue line, number 18 in Mason Larveld. Absolute chaos right now in this delayed penalty that is coming up to the Victorias. A 6-on-5 currently, as the Raiders have the extra attacker out. De Sousa down the near side. Takes a huge hit down low. Down in a bit of a heap. Finally, the Vics do touch this up to get enough possession. And with that, Saxburg will be going off. 2 minutes for boarding, I believe. They don't call him on that second hit he laid, which I guess you could have made an argument it could have been for interference, but this power play coming up, presented by Terrico. Special teams have been rocking tonight for this Raiders Junior Hockey Club. They opened the game up with a shorthanded marker in the first in their scoring from Logan Ash. Jackson Zook scored it near the beginning of a double minor last period. That tipped wide of the net as the Raiders already dangerous. Belouz down low. It feeds that, I believe, to D'Souza. D'Souza stick handles it with it a bit, tries to feed it through, but unable to. Got it back up to Belouz. Belouz whips it cross ice to Mason Larveld. Fake shot. Now down low. That pass goes as the net off. That's why we got our whistle. And Raiders crowd right now asking why it isn't a delay of game, as that's happened numerous times tonight already. Or something that goaltenders do often get away with here, at least in the U22 scene. As over a minute 30 remaining on the Raiders power play. So he gets sent back into their zone. Martel leaves this as Braden Martel hands it off successfully to number 18 in Mason Larveld. Now sent back into Ryan Cromie as he tries to build speed. What a move by Cromie. Feeds a pass to Anderson. Anderson shot just wide of the net. What a rush to drive in by Cromie. But just not the finish that the Raiders were looking for. So you give him time to build up some speed like we just saw from his own end. They'll almost make you pay. Almost did there. As Belouz sends this in deep. Raiders get on the puck. 42 seconds remaining on this man advantage. Belouz shoots, scores! I believe it was tipped in front. It might have been a pass actually instead. But with that, second power play marker of the night for the Raiders against one of the best penalty kills from opening week. And I believe that's Cromie, who rewarded for an unreal shift from number 27. Gets his Raiders back even in this one. That goal brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Be sure to check them out at terrico.ca. Jackson Zook sends this up to an outlet man. Will be held in by the Victorias. Nice play at the line. As how does this Young Guns line get it going for them once again? Led by one of their more experienced players, by Aiden Anderson out there right now. Anderson and Saxberg lost the battle down low. Saxberg fresh out of the penalty box, just holding the line. Enerson gets spun there. Now high slot, Penner, somehow that gets through him and the Raiders take the lead. An unlucky bounce past number 29. And once trailing in this game by a score of 3-0, the Raiders have been able to score 5 of the last 6 goals in this hockey game. 5 of them belonging to themselves, obviously, but making it a 5-4 game now. That goal at even strength brought to you by Terrico. A night that, through the first period looked like was very promising for the Victorias. Would they run away with it to end up getting their first win of the season? Well, the script is flipped here a bit, as the Raiders are now the ones on top for the first time in this hockey game. With 13:03 remaining, as I say many times, as I have before and I'll say it again, what do the Vics have in them for a response? They'll have to battle here. The Raiders aren't going to let up, as at the line, this just held in, turned over. Now the Raiders have to regroup. Kushner protects this before sending this cross ice. That puck sticked away by Dylan Jaquette, who goes off for a change shortly afterwards, sends Halpenny onto the ice. Tyler Free off the backboards, finds Jorganell. His pass up the middle, finds a wide open Halpenny. Looks to go one-on-one as Halpenny. Now looking to go one-on-two, gets sandwiched by 2 Raiders Junior Hockey Club players. But Halpenny, good strength, still remains on this. Gets taken down, tripping penalty coming up. This will put the Victorias onto the power play. Against, well, a penalty kill that's made them pay already tonight. Of course, the Raiders opened up the scoring shorthanded. But as for the Vics, they came into this one with a 4th-ranked power play in the league. I know it's only through 2 games, but still, one of the more promising areas of their game heading into tonight. That blast from the left face-off circle, wide of the net by Saxberg, but this held in by Goretzky. Back to Saxberg, but fans on that, unable to get anything really on it. Saxberg loses the puck battle along the boards, but Goretzky holds this in. A heavy shot just wide of the net. Just trying to locate that top glove hand corner. Goretzky at the blue line, trying to keep this in, just gets out. But nice strength from number 3 as he'll head right back in. Couldn't split the Raiders' defense. It's the Raiders, all 4 penalty killers, will change. The Victorias over a minute to work with here as Anderson. Nice inside-outside fake on Kushner, and now takes it to the outside. Circles back right at the blue line. Across to Goretzky. His shot gets deflected on the way through. As Ostorino bumps bodies down low. Anderson protects this. What protection. A nice pass there from Aiden. Over to Dinez. Dinez putting on the break. Stops up. Goes up towards the point to Goretzky. Goretzky's pass to Anderson. Meets a stick instead. It's knocked out of play. Slorenko getting his stick in the lane that time. 44 seconds remain on the Victoria's man advantage. 10:55 left in this hockey game. So we do got to put Terrico up on the scoreboard as well. Or not on the scoreboard, but down below on our screen as the Victorias win this puck battle down low. Freed up to the point. Now it's to Jackson Green, who Green walks in down the left side, fires this just wide of the net. Trickles all the way out as Nell looks to settle down a still bobbling puck in his own end. Could see him even trying to cup it with that forehand to try to settle it down. He finally did as he feeds that over to Jackson Green. Nice move by Green. Pulls it back to himself. Green with a few men to beat. Wraparound chance denied. Rebound there. The Vics can't quite whack away at it. Can't quite hold the line either. Is now a foot race now beat by Enerson. He's the first one on this puck, but a delayed offside. And offside for Saltz on the play. Exactly 1 second remaining on the Victoria's power play. .12 remaining. We're back to even strength. As for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, a pretty big kill there for themselves. The Vics had a few good chances, not many though. And for the most part, had trouble entering into the zone, back into the Raiders' end. And look, for the Raiders, maybe those power play numbers skewed a bit because of how good Stonewall was in that first game against them, having a few power play goals. But tonight, I've been impressed with not only how they've been able to shut down, which is a power play that looks a bit more improved for the Victorias in terms of the puck movement last year. They struggled on the man advantage. But fourth coming into this matchup this evening, and it's been no troubles for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club shutting them down on the PK tonight. Almost a bad break for the Victorias down low. They're able to get out of it as Ostorino sends this out wide. Knocked down by a Raider, sent in deep by the Victorias. Puck sent out right back into the Raiders, and fed up number 14, who kicks this out, number 20, and Derek's shot gets blocked on the way through. So the Victorias look to work this puck out. Off the boards, it's up to Patterson. Patterson pinned up along the boards. Puck gets down low. There's no penalty called here after Godfrey took down a Raider in number 2 in Bruno. Pass to Derritt, just at the blue line, fighting with Compton to get this out. Now he gets this free. Number 14 and Feschuk. Feschuk shot, turned aside, rebound there. Another save made by Penner. As Ethan Penner up to the task there. The Vics send this right back down to the Raiders zone off the boards. D-to-D, Zook sends this back to number 12 in Braden Larveld. His pass up the ice, turned over into the Vics possession as they send this in deep. Zook taking a few bumps from Saxburg. Survives there now. A dipsy doodle through the entire defensive zone for himself and out. Picked up by Braden Larveld now. Sends a pass over to Ryan Cromie. Can't get that to go. Trying to send that pass across. The Vics stretch this up. Just hits the stick of Aiden Anderson, who catches up to it. How's Dinez in the high slot? Anderson keeps this down low, protects it on the backhand. Into the slot for number 3 in Goretzky, who activated in, stepping up into the play. The Vics got to make sure to get back now, as Carter Anderson, looking to go one-on-one, fires that shot wide of the net. The Vics contested it well, wide open. I believe that's Anderson down low. Quick shot from that. The outskirts of the left face-off circle turned aside by Penner. A sneaky 1-T chance for the Raiders. Getting shots from everywhere here. Tipped. Not there. Net knocked off the bearings once again. In the Victoria zone with 6:43 remaining. It's in a game which the Victorias would love to have to get into the win column for the first time in this regular season. This draw will be won by the Raiders. Turned aside by Penner was Enerson. As Kennedy loses it down low off the boards. It's sent all the way back down into the Raiders' end by the Victorias. So it gets to the point, Jorganell activates up into the zone. Walks in, spins around, fired a pass to Kobe Edwards, who couldn't cradle it. As this gets past the red line, back into the Vic zone. Nell sent a pass over to Luke Elliott. Elliott got it up to Connor Mitchell, who will draw an interference penalty. Maybe selling it a bit. At the same time, that happens so fast. He loses his balance. The refs, of course, seeing that a Raider kind of knocks him off balance. And with that, it's the Victorias going back to the power play. It will be about, well, another opportunity in this period, as Saxburg was turned aside there with a nice pad save. Good positioning from Martel. This power play, of course, brought to you by Terrico. Puck down low in the Raiders zone. The Vics, Saxburg, along with Dinez, trying to dig away at it. It's Mason Larveld pinned up along the boards. Cromie and I believe it's Bealuz there for support. Bealuz ends up catching up to this loose puck and he'll look to skate with it. Going one-on-one with Goretzky. Goretzky keeps him to the outside. That pass towards the slot won't connect for Bealuz to his intended target. As rimmed around, Raiders got to it first and sent it in deep. It's number 8 in Saxburg. Leaves this for Goretzky. The Vics in need of some magic here late, it seems, with over a minute, just over a minute remaining in their power play. Another penalty coming up here, though, for the Raiders. A slash will put the Vics onto a 5-on-3 here coming up. That's timeout called. But if you were unaware, These are all the games we're doing this month. Prairie Sports Network partnering up with us this year. So all games will be seen on the G-Show Productions U-Screen service. But right now, Bentley Brandt, his team, down in Stonewall to call Jets and Riels. Last time we checked, Riels up by about 3 in that game. About 8 more games to go on that side of the schedule for our broadcast this year. And as for us, we'll be back in action for another Victoria's matchup this Sunday. About 6 matchups from now up until the end of the month coming up on our MMJHL broadcast schedule, or MMJHL game day schedule for this month of October. As the Victorias got to take advantage here, unable to in this instance, is Kennedy doing a nice job to take away that pass attempted by Anderson. Anderson will wheel around his own net now, trying to build some speed. He'll slow up a bit before walking in, delays up high in the Raiders zone. Sits down low, the Raiders send it out of play. So it ended up being touted as deflected out. It's Connor Mitchell to take the draw. That's number 15 in Whiteside, or no, number 5 in Belouz as the defenseman takes that draw for the Raiders. So it's played to safety onto the stick of Anderson for the Vics. Plays it down low to a wide open Dinez. Has lots of room to work with up high in the Raiders zone right now. Quick give and go as that backdoor feed ends up not connecting. Saxberg feeds it down low to Mitchell. Has that poked away. Nice aggressive stick checking by Mason Larveld as we're back to a 5-on-4. A minute remaining on the Victoria's power play. Trying to dig it out as both teams. Saxberg emerges victorious from the battle. Still send it right back to Goretzky, working from the near side back to the point. Now to the far side to Anderson. Feeds that in front. Unable to get through cleanly as the Raiders able to clear this out. Victoria's trying to get some fresh legs out onto the ice. Trying to take advantage here as they're on the rush. Saxberg protecting this down the left side. Has 2 Raiders draped all over him. Couldn't get a shot off. Vicks back to the point. Dinez loses the handle on it. Green can't whack that away because of the effort by Kushner. Diving to get that out of his own end as only 12 seconds remain on this Victoria's man advantage. Now only 10 seconds with 3:07 remaining in regulation. Some tough breaks for Victoria's goaltender Ethan Penner throughout this one, most notably on what stands as the game-winning goal. So it was just able to sneak past him at that time. It's the Vics, their power play. Had some even better looks that time around, but unable to truly do anything with it. We're back to even strength. Another power play presented by Terrico. Be sure to check them out at terrico.ca. It's just inside the blue line. A few Victorias trying to get this in deep. They do. To Kobe Edwards. Edwards, what a move in front. Denied by Martel. Rebound there somehow. Cleared out by the Raiders as Edwards walked right into the crease. Was denied there. So shifty as number 23. So this will be taken away just inside the red line. Wondering when Penner will get the call to get to the net. Ostorino forces a turnover. Gets forced down to the ice as the Raider took him down. The refs letting him continue to play here. Ostorino sends this down low. It's the Vics. Try to get to work on the cycle, but taken away by the Raiders and sent out near side glass with under 2 to play here in regulation now. Raiders getting fresh legs out. Same with the Victorias, their forward core. Nice job by number 19 to take it away, and Noah Bonera sent it right down deep. Name of the game right now for the Raiders. allow as less time as possible for the Vics to attack. With that extra attacker, pretty good way to do this. Stumping it down and winning on the forecheck, and also forcing turnovers in the neutral zone. Nice stick by Enerson. Anderson will leave that. Now fed up the boards. Near side to Dinez. Flips this through, but that over the stick of Tyler Free. Has two in this game already. High slot to Anderson. Walks in. Denied. Rebound there. Bobbling puck. Vic score! .7 seconds remain. And hey, how about a Hattie for number 25, the rookie, in Tyler Free. As throughout this period, the Vics have had plenty of opportunities in front to hunt down pucks, hunt down rebounds. The Raiders just a bit too good in clearing them away. Vics might not be getting the bounces they would have liked, but right there, Tyler Free, the bounce that he loves to make it a 5-all game. A scramble in front. Free capitalizes as that goal brought to you by Terrico. As could we be seeing extra time here tonight? We'll hold our breath for now. I should say don't hold your breath, as you never know what could happen here. The Vics are able to get this back and get possession of it. Edwards sends us on net through traffic. Luke Elliott hunts that down. Shot smothered by Martel. There's 40.4 seconds remain. It'll be Connor Mitchell to take the draw. Has Edwards and Luke Elliott out with him. Veteran line for this victorious squad. Edwards takes it to the net, denied by Martel. He still controls it down low, up to the point. Now keeps it in with his skates. Sent it right back to Edwards, but he couldn't cradle that cleanly. Sent all the way out by the Raiders. And we should definitely get a penalty call here coming up. But will we? I don't believe we will. A Raider Junior Hockey Club player in, I believe it's Jackson Zook. No, Owen Larenko. It's Aiden Anderson and Jackson Zook getting the Boston Pizza players of the game here tonight at St. Vital Centennial Arena. But unreal how that's no penalty call on the Victorias. Total interference. That player wasn't even close to the puck. Goretzky, his shot turned aside. Rebound there. Vic spouting away at it. But Martel able to just keep this out with 12 seconds exactly remaining as we take a look at the scoreboard there here at the Centennial. You also take a look at the Vic's one and only MMJHL League Championship banner. As well. But 9:23 on this Thursday night. Another offensive zone face-off draw for the Victorias. Won by the Vics to Saxford. Sends it wide of the net. This will be picked up by Carter Anderson, but can't get it out. Goretzky. Nice pull move to the outside. Couldn't catch up to it down low. As with that, MMJHL fans, we'll be going to overtime here on this Thursday night. So, at the very least, for these teams, they'll come away with a point. For the Vics, they've earned their first points of the season. They'd love to make it a full 2, though. As the scoring summary throughout that period, 2 goals for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. For St. Vital, that all-important game-tying goal by Tyler Free. His first 3 goals of the season coming tonight in a hat-trick performance. Stay tuned for the end of this game as we'll give our own players of the game. And Tyler Free, well, sneak peek, he very well maybe featured in that, unless, well, does another Victoria have what it takes here in overtime to maybe play themselves into that conversation? I know Aiden Anderson could be an honorable mention at the very least in this one. As for the Raiders, Jackson Zook, he's had a big 2-goal game, but he's not going to start off on defense. It's going to be Luz, Cromie, as well as D'Souza out for the Raiders. For the Vics, they start off this overtime with Dinez, Goretzky, and Aiden Anderson. 3-on-3 until maybe we see penalties here. But for 5 minutes is Anderson walking in. He couldn't quite hold on to that through the traffic. So Victorias will just take this right back out and all the way back down into their own end. As for Goretzky, with patience, almost fans on that pass, but keeps it. He'll flip this out now, sending number 5 and Dinez on Hail Mary pass. He gets to it first and gets this up to the point to Aiden Anderson. Anderson sends this into the far side corner for Goretzky, who gets a quick shot off. But up to the task there was Martel. Anderson will get it back, carrying it in to his own zone. Goretzky goes off for Saxberg as Saxberg wheels back into the Vic zone to make himself available as an option. Behind his own net with the puck. Number 8 in Saxberg threads this up to a wide open Connor Mitchell, who once again the Victorias not in any rush to attack here unless the opportunity is right. If they can find even more open space for themselves. Mitchell now enters into the zone. Mitchell up to a wide open point man. That's Tyler Free. Could it be 4 for number 25 here? Battles with the Raider to try to get that puck to a Victoria. Now the Raiders try to get past Free, but great back check there from 25. Now to a wide open Connor Mitchell. Has a man with him. Mitchell tries to dangle himself. Shut down right away by Ryan Cromie. Mitchell draped all over Cromie right now, but he evades him by getting an outlet pass over to D'Souza. D'Souza drops his back for Mason Larveld. D'Souza heads off for a change. Larveld will circle back. When does the urgency come into factor here for these two teams? It's number 17 in Laranko. Almost a bad turnover down low, but luckily his teammate able to get to it. The Raiders struggling right now with the Victoria's pressure as the Vics. It's up. Number 9, Astorino plays this right back to Luke Elliott. Luke Elliott wheels up to the middle of the zone just above the ringette line. Now it gets to Jorgen. Nell, who tries to walk in, but Nell shut down on that dangle. Cycled back to Elliott. Plays it back to Nell. Nell cross ice feed to Astorino, who can't get that through cleanly, but rebound picked up by Luke Elliott. Astorino trying to head to the front of the net. Contested all the way by Laranko. Elliott not liking any of his options, so him and Nell decide to just work it back into the Vic zone. Elliott went off for a change. Aiden Anderson back out now for the Vics, as under 2 minutes remain in this overtime period. Anderson will hold on to this puck for the time being. Brings it towards the near side. Little head fake. Now goes to the outside is number 19. Zook tries to poke that away, but Anderson stays on it. Sends it just down low to Goretzky. Goretzky tries sending it right back to number 19 in Anderson, but unable to, as Edwards protects this along the boards. Wheels all the way around, but can't hold that puck in. Nice job by Anderson to defend him. Even sweeter move by Edwards to evade the pressure of Carter Anderson, as Edwards will walk in. Leaves a short drop pass for Goretzky. Has to put on the moves at the blue line. Forced out into the neutral zone. Taken away and onto the stick of Kennedy now, as Kennedy stops up, surveying options out of the zone for a moment before hitting number 5 and Belouz. Belouz walks around the net. So he'll drop this back, I believe, to number 2 and Bruno, who's turned aside by Penner. So we're into the final minute of regulation in this one, in a game in overtime where, even though there's been a lot of open ice, both teams taking advantage of that. And, well, I guess you could say a passive way, but protecting the puck nonetheless. Maybe here's a chance for the Vics. It's sent up to Dinez, all alone. His chance scores! Sends the Victorias home with their first win of the season, as the final in OT 6-5 in favor of the Vics in a night where they hold on. But I'm sure they don't really care how they got it done as long as they got it done here tonight in front of their home crowd. A gutsy performance, of course, tying this game up in the last minute of regulation with a Tyler Free hat-trick goal. And in an overtime period where both teams were staying patient, waiting for open ice to open up, ice indeed does open up for number 5 in Dinez, who finds himself wide open in the neutral zone. Nice job, his teammate, in locating him. And Dinez, he's a speedster, uses his speed to break in one-on-one on Martel, and just tucks it past Martel with a backhand-forehand deke. As the Victorias, so in terms of the word tuck, they'll be tucking themselves into bed tonight knowing that they were finally able to come away with their first victory of the season. Wasn't the prettiest. They led in this game 3-0. Still a lot to clean up, but it's got to do a lot for your morale, just knowing you're able to win a game like this, able to get it back into get it back tied and get it into overtime after blowing the lead, right? Giving up 5 of the last 6 goals that were scored to that point in that game. And I mean, what a performance from Tyler Free and this Victorious team, as well as, of course, the game-winning goal scorer tonight, the OT hero, and Ben Dinez. But overall, a very entertaining game against these two teams who always seem to give us close games and games where we see the score go up and up like we did tonight. 6-5 final in favor of St. Vital. As we get into our players of the game, tonight's player of the game for the Raiders, the losing side, will be brought to you by Terrico. For me, yeah, I think Jackson Zook deserves it. Of course, Zook ended up having 2 goals in this game, 1 on the power play, 1 even strength. Yeah, just deadly efficient from the point tonight on his shots to get it past Penner. You know, that second goal of the game, Penner looked like he was going to stop it, but it was too much to handle from that blast from Zook. And yeah, I found that Zook in this game, you know, even had a penalty in the first period, but thought he did a really good job in terms of shutting things down in his own end as well, and creating offense just outside of just scoring goals tonight too, right? So making good passing plays, setting his teammates up. Zook looked really good in this matchup tonight. But a player of the game brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Be sure to check them out today at terrico.ca. But the Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia player of the game goes to Tyler Free. He opened up the scoring in this game for the Vics with 2 goals. The rookie was all over the front of the net tonight, and that was no different on the game-tying goal in the final minute of this one. Without that effort from him, putting that in the back of the net, we don't see overtime in this game. Maybe the Vics score afterwards, but Tyler Free's the one that gets them there. And yeah, thought that he just played a simplistic game tonight. Didn't really make many mistakes, was effective on the forecheck, and yeah, in the right places at the right time. To best, one in number 30 in Braden Martel tonight for his first career hat trick, and a big reason why the Vics win their first of the season here. It's brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for player of the game, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Sure to check them out at 995 Miltz-Eagle Drive in person, or check them out on their website at cancentralsportscards.com. In a game where back and forth action, both teams traded blows, got a bit physical. We saw a bunch of skill on display tonight. You know, some great saves from these goaltenders, but in the end, it's the Victorias and off the stick of Ben Dinez, who walked in on Martel to finish this one off for the Vics' first W of the season. As we look at the rest of tonight's action. So try to find it here. Right now in Stonewall, Riels and Jets are still going on. I believe they're in the third period now. And things have tightened up in that one too. 16:37 remaining in the third per the MMJHL's website, and it's now 3-2 for the Riels. Stonewall had a 2-0 second period to get within one. Be sure to check out that game, as it is available on our Uscreen service right now. Bentley Brandt has the call. Be sure to tune in to Twisters and Railers tomorrow night. As noticing I have an error there. That's not going to be at Seven Oaks Arena. That's in the Morris Multiplex, as Pembina Valley is going to be playing in their home opener. For us at G-Show Productions, on our side of things, for our broadcast team here, we're going to be back in this league for a 2 p.m. matchup in Transcona at Golding Arena, also known as East End Arena, on Thanksgiving Sunday, as we'll see the Vicks back in action once again. Games now available on our Uscreen service, as well as yearly passes and monthly passes available for this season. But as for this game tonight, as we say so long, MMJHL fans, want to thank Elite Prospects, Terrico, Goaltenders, Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and Movement Fitness and Performance for sponsoring another edition of MMJHL Game Day. Till we see you Sunday, MMJHL fans, for our side of things in East End for St. Vital and Transcona. We'll see you then. Be sure to check out St. Boniface and Stonewall, as that should be a thriller to the very end there. It's now 3-2 in favor of the Riels. Bentley Brandt has a call there, along with Prairie Sports Network on our gshowproductions.uscreen.io service. But for us, that'll be all here for St. Vital Centennial Arena. It's been your host, Graham the G-Show Forsyth, as well as your play-by-play commentator, signing off and wishing you all a wonderful rest of your night and a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend ahead. The Victorias end up being the ones to come back late in this one and win it in OT. Ben Dinez playing the hero tonight. Good night, everybody.